In this video, we're going to be working on reviewing what literal meanings are of phrases and what non-literal meanings are. So if you remember, we discussed in class that a literal meaning is telling us exactly what it says. What it says in the text is exactly what it means. There's no variation. It doesn't change. It means exactly what it says. So one example would be, the test today was so easy, right? Saying something's easy means it wasn't hard for you. It was very easy. It means exactly what it says. In a non-literal meaning, the text doesn't mean exactly what it says. So another example of this would be pretty much the opposite of a literal. The test today was a piece of cake. Man, that test was a piece of cake. So the piece of cake is a non-literal meaning to say that it was so easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to read a few different sentences that have a phrase underlined. The underlined phrase, we're trying to figure out if that is the literal meaning of the underlined phrase or a non-literal meaning. Once we have them all sorted to literal and non-literal, we'll go back and figure out what definition of that phrase is that they're talking about. So let's go ahead and start. The first one we have is, when Daryl came inside from playing in the snow, he had cold feet. So we're trying to figure out if had cold feet means that he really had cold feet, or does it mean something else? Does it mean what it says? If we look at our clues, we see that he was outside playing in the snow. So if he's playing in the snow, his feet probably really are cold. So if the text means what it says, we're going to sort it to, are we going to sort it to literal or non-literal? Good. Literal means exactly what it says. He was out in the snow, so he probably does have cold feet. All right. Our next one. Jerry went out on a limb and asked Kim to dance. Do we think Jerry really went out on a limb, climbed out on a limb to ask someone to dance? Right? Literal or non-literal? Did he really do that, or does it mean something else? Good. If it means something else, we're going to sort it to awesome, non-literal. It doesn't really mean he climbed out on a tree limb. Okay? Elaine took the final straw from the dispenser. Did she really take the final straw, or did something happen? Does it mean what it says, or does it mean something else? Good. It means what it says. Elaine really did take the final straw. So if it means what it says, we're going to sort it to literal. Good. All right. Let's keep going. Frank's contribution was generous, but it was only a drop in the bucket. So let's go back. What does contribution mean? Frank's contribution. If you give a contribution or you contribute to something, that means you're giving, you're helping. You may be giving money or donating your time by helping out with something. And then generous. What does generous mean? Frank's contribution was generous. If you're generous, it's French, I can't say that word today. If you're being generous, then you're being helpful. You're giving out of the kindness of your heart because you want to do that. So Frank's contribution was generous, but it was only a drop in the bucket. Does that mean there was actually one drop put in a bucket? Or does that mean something else? Right. It means something else. It doesn't mean Frank dropped one drop into a bucket. All right. So we're going to sort that one for non-literal. Very good. A few more left. Adam didn't worry about whether or not he got the job because he knew it was in the bag. Did Adam take the job and put it inside a bag, or does it mean something else? Did he put it in a bag, or does it mean something else? Right, it means something else. When you get a job, you can't take it and put it inside a bag, can you? No. All right, so we're going to put that one for non-literal. Tina ripped the plastic bag and spilled the beans all over the floor. Did she really spill the beans, or did something else happen? Good. She really did spill the beans on the floor. to move you a little closer so you can see our definitions, or sentences that we've sorted. All right, so we're going to go back now and we're going to match some meanings with what sentences we picked. All right, so let's start with the one we just did. It says, Adam didn't worry about whether or not he got the job because he knew he had it in the bag. So we sorted it to non-literal, so we know that means he didn't take the job and really put it in a bag. What else could that mean? Adam had it in the bag. If I said, y'all had that state test in the bag if we would have taken it, right? You knew you were going to pass. You knew you had it. You knew you could do it. So it says, for sure know you're getting something. You for sure knew that you were going to get a passing score. All right? What about this one? Jerry went out on a limb and asked Kim to dance. Did Jerry actually climb out on a limb, or does it mean that Jerry did something else? Good. Jerry didn't really climb out on a limb. What do you think Jerry did by asking Kim to dance? What do you think that means? He went out on a limb. Think about when you may climb out on a limb, maybe on a rope swing by the water or something. You're taking a chance by climbing out there that maybe it's going to hold you, that it's going to be strong enough. So Jerry took a chance and asked Kim to dance. So when you go out on a limb, you're taking a chance at something. It could be trying out for a sports team. In Jerry's case, asking someone to dance or raising your hand to answer in class. It could be taking a chance to do a lot of things. All right, let's look at this one. Elaine took the final straw from the dispenser. So we put it under literal, so we know that means that Elaine really did do what? Elaine really did take the last one. So the final straw, in this case, means the last one. Final also means last. All right, let's look at up here. When Daryl came inside from playing in the snow, he had cold feet. We already said that one clue was that he was in the snow, so he had cold feet, so that makes sense. We put it under literal, so does that mean that Daryl actually had cold feet or that he got nervous? Yeah, good. He actually got cold feet. If we would have sorted under non-literal, had cold feet means you get nervous about something. You're worried about something. All right? Right down here, our last non-literal. Frank's contribution was generous, but it was only a drop in the bucket. What does it mean that Frank's contribution was just a drop in the bucket? Did he take one drop and put it inside a bucket, or does that mean something else? Right, we put it under non-literal, so we know that it means something else. The text doesn't mean what it says. So if it was only a drop in the bucket, his contribution, what he gave, what does that mean? What do you think that means for Frank? Awesome. It means what he's given was appreciated, but it's just a little, right? Maybe they're raising money for a family in need, and what everybody gives is just a little bit, and that little bit adds up to be enough for everything. Contribution. All right. So we have one final one. Tina ripped the plastic bag and spilled the beans on the floor. All right, so this one's easy. Again, we put it under literal, and we said over here that the text means exactly what it says when it's literal, right? So if she spilled the beans on the floor, what did Tina really do? She really did spill the beans on the floor. If this would have been, spilled the beans on the floor would have been in a sentence under non-literal. Spilled the beans means you told someone's secret. You tell about something that you weren't supposed to. And then Elaine took the final straw. If the final straw was under non-literal, that means it's the last thing to drive you crazy or to upset you, or the last thing that makes everything fall apart. So, in review, let's review one more time. If something is a literal meaning, the text means exactly what it says. But if it's a non-literal meaning, right, the text doesn't mean what it says, right? If this one down here, the text was a piece of cake, your test that you take wasn't actually a piece of cake, right? That's just another saying for it was easy.